loves. Hello.
Welcome to the Complete Woman Podcast, a show for women who have become overshadowed by all the titles they possess. I am your host, Coach Toya Kite, relationship and life coach. Join me and others as we take a look into the real, raw, and uncut reality of being a woman. Superwoman, get ready to take off your cape.
Hello, my loves. Here is another episode of the Complete Woman Podcast, Talks with Toya. So, you guys, I always come with the real, raw, and uncut, and I always come with what you need all day, every day. So, I am back. We try to get back rolling with this podcast thing. I took a little break. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need some time to yourself, and to work some things out, but I am back. And because I always want to bring people on this platform, and I always want to make sure that you guys know what's happening out here. I have a special guest today. But before I go into with my special guest today, I just want to let you guys know that I have been doing well. I have had some things going on, having doctor's visits and all that kind of stuff. I am working with a trainer to get my body back together after dealing with cervical cancer and chemo and radiation and all that stuff, trying to get my health back to where it needs to be. So I'm feeling great these days, and in all the things that I'm trying to do, God is doing some amazing things. I got some things in the works. I have some speaking engagements coming up. I have some special projects coming up. I got a lot. Y'all know I'm always doing something. So look out. Make sure you go to my social media pages, and I will announce those if need be. I'll announce those. Make sure you go to my pages. Make sure you email me if you want to contact me, thecompletewoman19@gmail.com, and reach out to your girl. If you want to be on Talks with Toya, I'll say it again at the end, and I'll let you know the details of that as well. So being that I am a cancer survivor, I definitely wanted to make sure that I bring someone else on because June is Cancer Survivor Month. We got a month, we got something for every month. And I didn't know that was even a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing, but when I found out that was a thing, I said, oh yeah, I definitely got to be a part of that and make sure I hype it up. So if you go to my social medias, you'll see I've been sharing tips and tools, and I've been sharing facts and everything about my cancer journey and about the cancer that I dealt with, which was cervical cancer. I make sure I share all that info that I know to help people out, because there was a lot of things that I didn't know before I encountered cancer. So I want to make sure that I help other people that don't know. My family is doing well. Y'all know I got a new grandbaby. She is 5 months old. I know I am too young to be a grandparent, but at the end of the day, when you have children young, you have grandkids young. So it is what it is. So that is great, and I am just ready for what God has next for me, because God is doing, I'm telling you, do not sleep on your girl. God is doing some things. So as you guys know, I don't like to talk a lot about me, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. So today I have on here with me Coach Stephanie. She is also a cancer survivor. And so we are going to discuss her journey with cancer and all the other things that she has going on, because she is the bomb. I met her at an event that one of our mutual friends had. Her name is Katrina. And when I saw this girl, from the time that I walked up to the door, I was just like, oh, I like her. I like her because she was on point. I came to the event. She said, hey, she greeted me and all that, and helped me get to where I needed to be. And then and all you saw was her ripping and running the whole time. She was just going. And I said, oh, okay, girl, I see you working. You're working, and I love it. So she was just going. And then when Katrina started talking about her, and when she opened her mouth, I was like, oh yeah, I got to link up with that girl. And so this is how we came about, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what our meeting turns into, like, I'm so ready, because I believe that God can do amazing things when great women get together. So I
Yes.
cannot wait to see what we will definitely do together, if we're supporting each other or whatever. And she will get into what she does as well, that you can support. So welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you,
Hello.
thank you, thank you. Hi.
Hi. So Stephanie, introduce yourself to the people. Tell the people who you are.
So I am Coach Stephanie. I am a cancer survivor, as stated. I overcame the battle of lymphoma cancer. I was diagnosed in 2005, and rare situation, because when you think of lymphoma, you think of, the lymphatic system, right? Well, my cancer showed up in my knee. Like, what? You know? And so, totally rare situation. I remember back in 2005 when I was going through everything, they were kind of just like, you're like one in a million. And I'm like, you know what? I always said I was a one in a million type of girl, But never would have thought that it would have been for this season or for that season, in my life, that I would be classified as the one in a million type of person. But I am the founder of Moms on the Move, which is my baby. It's a support group for mothers. Nothing specific. You just are a mother, or even if you're not a mother, but you play the role of a mother. Being a single mother of my own, I had to realize that you need support. We can't do it on our own. We don't always have every answer. And sometimes you just want to feel like you're not alone, So for whatever the reason may be, we offer different services to mothers. We're on social media platforms. But the ultimate purpose of it all was just to say, hey, just because I'm a mom, I need to be the best version of me. Absolutely. Before I can be the best mother I can be. And sometimes we get lost in our children to where we live through them instead of living for them. And that's my focal point for anyone. Don't become so lost in your children to where you lose yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you're no good for your kids. So we do different things to kind of just like help mothers know that you can still be progressing, whatever that progression is for you, but make sure that you're always consistently progressing so that you're setting that living example for your children to know that you can do anything. You can be anything.
Right.
You're not bound to circumstances, situations, environments, cultural, anything like that. So that's my baby. And yes, I am a cancer survivor. Me in a nutshell.
Awesome. So it's so amazing, and we're gonna get more into that. But when you said I try to help women not be so consumed with their children, like their life is consumed. And that is the reason I started The Complete Woman. I started The Complete Woman because I wanted women to remember, mothers and wives, I wanted them to remember they were women first. You were a woman first.
Yes.
Before you became a mother, before you became a wife, you were a mother. And when you lose that, if something happens to your children or your spouse, then you are kind of lost, or if they don't invest in you how you want them to, you're lost because you have poured so much into them. So you're looking for that back, and you don't always get that back.
Get that,
because
yes.
We are the nurturers, children are selfish, point blank, period. And I mean, that's what they're supposed to be, because they don't have responsibilities. So they're supposed to be selfish. So they don't look out for us like you would want them to. And then your spouse, men don't, they don't see things the way that we do. So they nurture in a different kind of way, So when you're looking for it to come back to you, and then a lot of times you lack in certain areas because you put everything into them and not put a lot into
yourself. Exactly.
And that's something that I definitely learned, because all of my children, my son is the youngest and he's about to be 16, but my older kids all my daughters, they have graduated school, so they're grown. So they went on with their lives. So if I would have been so consumed with them, it
What
would have
would you
been
be
like,
doing?
like, what am I gonna do with my life? So
Hmm.
when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that is definitely needed, and we're definitely gonna do some things together when it comes to that. So before we get
Definitely.
more into that, let's talk about the cancer journey. How did you find out? You said it was in your knee. How did you even find out about that?
Coach Latoya, it was so um it was a struggle in the beginning because everybody has different symptoms. So I woke
Mhm.
up and I realized I had started losing weight. And in 2005 I was in Tallahassee attending Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I was in my senior year, and this is my year, like I've
Mm,
made it this
right.
far. So when I started losing weight, I didn't really pay any attention to it at first, but before you know it, in like a matter of 30 days, I lost like 45, 60 pounds. And it seems like really drastic. And it's like when you're looking at yourself every day, you can notice a difference, but you don't really see
Yeah,
the difference.
right.
So until I got to that weight, and I'm like, wait a minute, my clothes ain't fitting no more. I borrow my roommate's stuff, going shopping. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I was like, okay, well, let me just eat more. I'm in college, so I'm not thinking like, let me go to the doctor and
Right.
figure this out. I'm having the time of my life, my senior year. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I was a thick girl then. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm scaling down. I'm in a size 4. I'm real cute.
Yeah.
So I wasn't complaining, And
Right.
I was like, okay. And then I was a part of a modeling group too in Tallahassee called Faces. So it was kind of like it just made
Everybody
it
was a part of
work.
Faces.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of Faces models. That's
Yes. So I was like, well, this was working for me.
yeah.
I'm it's spotlight time. It's my senior year.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
it's my time. And
Right.
then I remember one morning, I didn't live on campus. I actually lived very far away from campus off of Old Bainbridge Road. And I remember waking up one morning and I couldn't walk. And I'm like,
Wow.
now this is it for me, like this is
Yeah.
the something ain't right. And at the time my cousin was in Tallahassee with me, and I called him and I was like, hey, Chester, I need your help. Like, I need you to come here. And he came. We went to Tallahassee Memorial, and they were just like, well, nothing's wrong. Your testing is coming back great. And I'm like, okay, so somebody tell me why I can't walk. And just like anything, you go through like your round of testing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they sent me to a psychiatrist, and they were like, your mind is telling your body that you can't walk, therefore you're not walking. And I'm like, look, bro, I know I'm not crazy. um and so we were seeing, and I called my parents and I was like, hey, this is right before spring break. I'm like, I think that I might need to come home and go to the doctor. And I was like, I can't walk, so I started missing class. um they gave me crutches or whatever, but on the hill, crutches don't really do
Yeah.
justice. So I'm like,
Right.
okay. And I remember coming home, and I had tore my ACL my senior year in high school. So I went to see my doctor, Dr. Lucy, and he was like, nothing's really showing up, but it's something funky. And every doctor that I would see then would just be like, it's something funky going on. And a couple of months had went by, and I'm still home. And I'm like, I know that I'm not crazy. I'm on Google, I'm on
Yeah.
WebMD, I'm, doing my own
Right.
research. Like,
Right.
well, they can't figure it out. Let me figure
Yeah.
it out,
Yeah.
like, because I'm doing it to prove the doctor's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm not crazy. I ain't taking these pills. Like, I'm not
Right.
not for that. And honestly speaking, I went on a fast
Mhm.
and just was like, really cried out, God, like, I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I was a law major. So I wasn't in med, so I didn't know anything. So I'm like, God, you got to give me guidance, because
Right.
I don't want people around here thinking that I'm crazy. Still no explanation to why I'm losing weight,
Right.
And so, your family, they diagnose you. My daddy got diabetes, so I'm
Absolutely.
around here and I got diabetes now.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it was like, okay, so everybody has their own story, but
Right.
none of that mattered. And I remember just waking up one morning and I'm like, I told my parents, I was like, I have cancer. And my mom was like, girl, don't speak that. You ain't got that. And I'm like, no, like it, God answered me. I have cancer and I need to find an oncologist. Like at that point, so I'm calling my primary care because I need a referral. I need to
Right.
see an oncologist. Like, I don't want to do any more testing. Just send me to somebody because I know that this is what it is. And went, he had some testing done. And I just remember sitting in that room waiting for the results. And there was such a settling to my spirit. Like there was peace. Like I knew that I was finally going to get the answers. And I knew that we were going somewhere at this point. So it was me, my mom, and my dad. And we were sitting in there. And I went to Shands, not 8th Street, but at the time it was right here off of Emerson. Caveat on that one, right?
Yeah, don't
And
go extra.
and I was a little worried too when I was like, they gave me two options. They were like Mayo or Shands, but Mayo was so booked I couldn't get in.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, okay, well, I had no other options but
Yeah.
Shands. And I'm really praying at that point, Miss Latoya, like,
Oh,
God,
oh,
I
oh yeah.
need you.
Oh yeah.
Like, I need you.
Yeah.
But it was the best, I call it the best, worst, best situation for me. And I say it in that because the best was I finally found someone who could help me. The worst
Yeah.
was because I thought that was going to be the worst for me. But the best because when they counted me out, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So that's my best, worst, best situation. And the doctor came in and he was like, you have a rare form of lymphoma cancer. And they run down your options. Option one, we can do surgery. You may lose, the bottom half of your leg, or we can try chemo, radiation. But because by this time, like 6.5 months had passed by,
Yeah.
they're like, we don't really know if this is going to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm 21. Y'all ain't gonna cut my leg. I'm cute, remember? No, we're gonna try this chemo. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna try this radiation. And he was really pushing. He was like, but if we do the surgery, we know we can get it. I can't, guarantee you anything with the chemo and radiation. Me, oh, we're gonna do the chemo and we're gonna do the
Yeah.
radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And so,
Yeah.
we went through the timelines and they were just like, we can only guarantee you about 6 months because we don't know how far this is spread. We don't know. We just don't know. And I was like, okay, well, I'll take the risk because when God told me it was cancer, he also told me that I was healed.
Yeah.
So it was like a confidence that I
Yeah.
had in my situation that, okay, we're going to go through this process. And for whoever it is, because my mom used to always tell us growing up that it's not about you. So in the back of my
Right.
mind, I kept saying, this ain't about me. This
Right.
ain't for me. I'm going to go through it and we're going to get through it. But that was how I found out that I had cancer.
Wow. Well,
That was
child, these
it.
these cancer stories, when I, started talking to people about, how they found out what were their symptoms and stuff, it's always the strangest stories. And,
Mhm.
and I commend you though, like at 21, you were a trooper because child, me at 30, when I was 38, I think, when I was diagnosed, I was not a great trooper at all. I was not. I literally like low key cussed out God. I was mad. I didn't understand. I didn't like it. And I didn't want to
Mm-mm.
live. I was like, oh no. So for you to say we gonna do this chemo, we gonna get this done because now I wouldn't want to get nothing cut off either. Now I'm with you on that. Now you're not gonna cut none of my body parts. If we
No.
have other
Mm-mm.
options, you're not going to do that. So I get you on
Exactly.
that. But yeah, I wasn't like that, honey. I was like,
Oh,
I
now
don't like
don't get it confused, Miss Latoya, because me and God, we had some arguments along the way because I chose chemo, but didn't really understand the choice. So there were times
it.
when during the process,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, tell me what I did. I was there.
Woo!
In the beginning, I just wanted to know.
I
Like,
want to know, what did I
that's
do
all it
to
was for me.
deserve
Mm-hmm.
this?
Yep.
Yes, that was my conversation too. I was like, what? I don't understand. Like, and I always tell people, and I have to repent after I say it, but that was a legit thought. I was like, God, it's some people I can name that you could have gave this to. Like, and me out of all people, I got a few people that you could have gave this to. Like,
Look,
what? Like, why?
why me? Like
I don't
I did that.
understand.
I was thinking because I felt convicted in my spirit because I'm in Tallahassee having the time of my life. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
well, you know what, God, you could have just said get back in the
You
church.
could have,
You could have told me. I
that's
would have joined
all
the
you had to
choir.
do.
I would have been
You
on the
did not,
usher board.
you did not have to do
I
all
wasn't
that.
thinking. I was like, well, God, I went in two-term. I'm still doing good in school. I might have hit the club. I might have been drinking. I went to thinking like, so I had my moments throughout like my process to where every day wasn't good.
Yeah.
There were some moments where I was just like, this too much for me. Maybe I
Yeah.
should have considered that little leg. They
Li-
got cute prosthetics and stuff. I went through the battle,
Yeah.
so, but I'm a realist. But I think just initially, again, I just wanted to know that I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But then during that process, it was like, well, God, sometimes in the middle of our process, we think we're being punished. So we
Mhm.
start asking those questions like, what did I do to deserve this punishment?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? And then I really thank God for my mom because she's always that sweet voice. And she's just like, girl, this ain't even about you. She would come and she was like, girl, this ain't even about you. And it's like in those moments, and I had to find things to do to mentally stimulate myself
Yeah.
because you can get so emotionally wrapped up into
Yeah.
the situation so where
Mhm.
you're not mentally right for people or even for yourself, And that was one thing that my doctor really was. He used to treat me like I was his daughter because he had a daughter my age. And he would say, your environment through this situation is going to make you or break you. And he used to always tell me, keep negative people away from me. So I literally wrote a list to my parents, like, if such and such come, they can't see me.
They can,
I don't want this and this person here. They can't be around me. Because
yeah.
when you're in this situation, people start talking.
Oh
You
yeah.
become the
Oh yeah.
gossip. And
Oh
then
yeah.
it was difficult for me because I disappeared from school. So the only people who knew that I was gone was my college roommates. So there were so many rumors going around, FAMU, about me.
Yeah.
I was pregnant. I had got sick. Like it was so much. I'm dealing with that. And then, not to say at least, people that I consider friends and even my family were counting me out. And so it was like, you tell them your story, like, okay, well, this is what the doctor said, and they
Right.
create their own story and they've already narrated the ending and everything like that. So I had people who I thought would be the support for me really show me that they weren't who I needed to be connected to in this time. And some of the hardest decisions was just saying, no, bro, you can't come see me. No. And I would even tell my parents, stop giving them updates. They don't need to know what I got going on. And those were the things, counteracting all of that, like trying to balance and then dealing with I don't know about you, but cancer, my chemo, I lost my hair. I had hard times eating. I was very sensitive to lighting. It affects your senses. So the smell of food made me nauseous. Like my mom then would literally cook down the street at my aunt's house and then bring food because it was like I couldn't take the smell of it. So it was kind of just like, oh, I had my moments was like, God, I love this, and now I can't even have it. Like, I wanted to go and do things, but physically I was too weak to do it. And then in the transition, I even questioned myself, like, I've lost all this weight. I'm finally down to a 0. I'm 21 with no hair. And back then, that's when synthetic hair was out there. So I got a synthetic wig out here that my grandmama should be wearing and not me. So it's kind of like, all type of thoughts and emotions and stuff began to play in my head. And it was like, how do you counteract that? What do
Yeah.
you do? You
Yeah.
know, and being at my age, there wasn't many other 21-year-olds that I knew that was enduring what I was going through.
Yeah.
So it was different having my mama's friends come and be like, oh, you okay? And I'm just like, the child 40 and 50. Like, that's what you're supposed to say, you know.
That's what she's supposed
Who's
to
relating to me?
Right.
You know? And that was my thing, like, for the most part. But no, me and God, we had some powwows. I think I might have cussed a couple of times and had to ask for pure forgiveness, you know. But we had some real moments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I just needed him to reassure me that it was nothing that I did.
Yeah.
It was just a part of who I was.
Yeah.
And the older I get, the more I realize that I had to go through this so that I could reach whoever he had for me
Yes.
at another level.
Yes.
So and I thank God that he didn't be like, oh gosh, she tripped out on me so hard. I don't want to take her there. But I'm grateful that he puts people in my path to where I can use this testimony to say, you can get through it. He did it for me. He'll do it for you. And those are the moments when you can really relate, you know. Like you said, you're very transparent. And I love that this is a part of my story. I didn't know how it would impact me because for the longest, I didn't tell anybody. It was me. If you saw it on Facebook, you saw it. But even if you looked in, I took all that stuff down because it was something that not to say I was ashamed of, but I didn't know how to use it.
Right.
You know, like, how do I tell this part of my story? And then I met you.
Woo, child. Listen to, man, I tell you, I'm just sitting here like, I don't even know what to say. Like, because it's the same. It was basically the same for me, you know, and I asked God, no, and me and God tussled from day one. Because when the people told me the people at first, they didn't think it was cancer. And for you to say that to me, I didn't come in here, I didn't think it was cancer either. Like, what you telling me you don't think it's cancer? I didn't ask you that. Like, why are you telling me you don't think it's cancer? Why are we even talking about cancer? I didn't say anything about it. I came in here for a checkup. Didn't ask you about no doggone cancer. So why are you saying you're not concerned about it? Did I ask you that? So it went from that to having multiple biopsies to all this. And I'm just like, what in the world is happening? So I just went into a whole, I just went into a whirlwind. I was done. I was so done. And I tell people, thankfully we were in a pandemic when the pandemic had literally probably just started when I got sick. When I found out I was sick, I thank God for that because it really separated me from people. And like you said, it showed me who was supposed to be in my life. And, you know, it showed me the people that I am, I could go out to dinner with person, or you're the person that, hey, we cool, we may kid every now and then and stuff like that and whatever. And then they show me those people that's gonna ride with me thick and thin. So I definitely learned all of that. And I said, you know, even though at first, like you said, I didn't understand. I was like, why me? I don't understand. And you know, they always say, why not you? And that's literally for real. Why not you? Like, why not? You know, you're asking why you, but why not you? What about you makes you so special that it can't be you? You know, and so literally I had to go through some stuff, and God had to force me to even share, because like you said, you went through it privately. I really didn't want to tell anybody either, and I was kind of ashamed because with cervical cancer, you only get it certain ways. So I definitely was like, I don't want people in my business like that, because that's a more personal. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want people to know that. And God literally said to me, you cannot be the face of women's empowerment and you don't share something that affects women.
All right, now.
See?
Yes. Conviction.
Right.
You're going to tell my story one way or the other.
I was like, okay, God, you had to pull my card like that. God, oh, like for real.
That
I
was
was
real.
like,
That was a good one.
right.
Oh,
I was like, and then I have a cancer that people don't talk about. You don't hear about cervical cancer. So when I started sharing my story, like my social medias and phone blew up because it was people that had either went through something like that, and it was people that were like, they started changing their doctors, they started to take better care of themselves, they started paying attention to certain signs and all that, because like you said, people start diagnosing you, because the people around, we always
mm-hmm.
tell, hey, it ain't nothing but this, it's only this, I had that problem too, or whatever. Yeah, you may have had that problem too, but that does not mean that I have the
Exactly.
same end result that you have.
All right.
So yeah, you recognize my symptoms, but something ain't right. And that's why I tell people, know your body and fight with these doctors about
Yes.
how you feel. Because like you said, they sent you to psychiatrists. Like, you sending me to psychiatrists and I'm over here dying. I am dying and you're sending me to psychiatrists. Like, come on, are you serious? So that's what I say,
Mm-hmm.
fight, advocate for yourself. When you
You
know
have
something's not
to.
right about your body, advocate for yourself, because they only going to go by what you tell them, and then they're only going to do what you let them do. You have to let them know,
Exactly.
hey, no, I need to see somebody. And I did the same thing. I need to see a specialist. And that's why I tell people it's the difference between your PCP, your primary care, and a specialist, because primary care cannot really tell you when there's something
No.
going on with a certain area of your body, because
Mm-hmm.
that's why they have specialists for those certain types of situations. So see a specialist for that. So
Exactly.
that's how, I had to really fight for me to find out what was going on with me or whatever. And thank God it didn't go as long as you did. And I was able to catch it early enough. But yeah, I went through the same thing too, that like that chemo and stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, I was so sick and everything made me sick. And I literally stayed in my room most of the time I was sick, like, because all you want to do is lay down. You're so weak, you're so tired, you're
Exactly.
so drained. And like you said, I had people upset with me because I would not answer the phone. I had
Mm-mm.
people upset with me because I told my husband, hey, no, they can't come over. No, I don't want to see them today. I don't want to talk to them today. I, like you said, because I had to protect my space and I had
You
to
have
protect my
to. You
mind.
have
And there's
to.
something I tell people too all the time. You're in, like you said, your environment has to be conducive to your healing.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people that all the time. If I didn't have the people, and I was very particular about that, because everybody knew what I was going through, but it was only a few that knew exactly what was going on every day
Yes.
to day. And so they were the people that I leaned on, and I understood that you can't have all these people around. You can't
You
have all
can't.
these people in your
You
stuff, because like
cannot.
you said, they start saying stuff, they start doing stuff, and then you looking like, hey, I'm already over here trying to
Thank
encourage
you.
myself to even get up the next day, and you coming in with that. I don't want it. I
I
don't
don't
want
need that, you
it.
know?
I don't need
And
that.
sometimes people do it even unaware.
Right.
Like, ignorance is very big when it comes down to health conditions because
Yes.
we're not
Yes.
knowledgeable. So
We're
we'll
not.
say what we've heard instead of
Right.
what is known to be true. So
Right.
not even everybody that was connected to me did it intentionally. They were just
Right.
ignorant.
Right.
They didn't
Right.
understand.
Right.
So they would say things and stuff like that. And it was kind of like, that's I just can't,
No, I
but
can't.
you have to have the right people connected to you.
Absolutely.
And some people were mad, like, I'm your auntie, but you ain't the one I need here,
No.
like I was very blessed with the people that were connected to me. And even like my best friend from college, she lived in Atlanta. I remember my first chemo treatment, which I'm kind of jealous because I used to get pricks and pride. That was before the ports were like really
I
being
still
used,
got pricked every time.
so
I
I'm
got
like,
pricked every time.
okay. But I used to do my chemo setup was every 21 days, and it was the IV drip, and I would be there
Mhm.
for like 8 hours,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was like, whew, like
Yeah.
I prep in between time with all the
Yeah.
pills, the
Yeah.
Benadryl, the Tylenol, the
Yeah.
different antibiotics and stuff,
Hmm.
and then sit there, and it was kind of just like my thing too. I'm sitting there. I'm 21. Everybody around me is like older, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
then just to be so drained. And I'm like really grateful because one of the people that was connected to me was my best friend, my college roommate. And I remember my first treatment, she had came down from Atlanta and she was 8.5 months pregnant and she drove. And I was like, you know, just so I was so appreciative of the ones that did support me
Yes.
and that had, you know, positive mindsets to take the journey with me. So
Yes.
not everyone was, you know, isolated from me because I had some heavy
Yeah.
hitters. I had
Yeah.
some prayer partners.
Yeah.
I had some people who might not have even have been in the same spiritual walk with me,
Right.
but some people who still believed. And
Right.
even people who at the time may not have been a believer, but saw the process
Yeah.
of me and became believers, you
Yeah.
know? And so that was like the good part of it all with me. But my ultimate support team, you know, was maybe consist of like 5 or 6 people. And I was so grateful for them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, not even just for me, but like I talk a lot about my parents because at that age, I wasn't on my own. I was in college. So when I came
Yeah.
home, I'm at their house, you know?
Yeah.
And I really depended upon them a lot. My brother, my aunt and my uncle, my godfather was there, you know, all the time. And it was just like, you know, I was very thankful for the ones that, you know, could handle it. And I say it
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't something that I went through on my own.
Right.
For the ones that were around, we went through it together.
Yeah.
I was the first person in my immediate family that was going through cancer. So a lot of it was like trial and
Yeah.
error, you know?
Yeah.
And so we were living each day together. Each
Yeah.
moment we were doing this together, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like what I knew before, like my whole body reset. Like,
Yeah.
I loved pineapples and stuff before. Now I'm allergic to pineapples.
Yeah.
It's like, you know,
Yeah.
lost my hair, my texture changed. What am I doing with this curly stuff? I have no clue, you know? So it was a lot of like trial and errors that really, really happened, you know? My secret to everything, and I use it for anyone, it's always my go-to. My one big advice: eat you some plain Lay's potato chips before you try to
Yes.
eat.
Yes.
When
Yes.
I found that out, Coach
Yes.
Toya, I was in heaven.
Yes.
Like I could keep food on my stomach because when
Yes.
you can't even hold down water and you
Yes.
hungry, you're like, right?
Yes.
And I'm a foodie. Like I
Yes.
like food.
Yeah.
I like to eat, and I mean good
Yeah.
food too.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, and actually at one of my chemo sessions, they were like, you know, just eat you some chips beforehand. So I'm like, okay, what kind of chips? You know, that's the thing. Oh, we racking up on Lay's potato chips. If you got
Yep.
an upset stomach and you try to
Yep.
eat, coat your stomach with some potato chips
Yep.
beforehand, and I can eat. I was in heaven. Like you could Debbie cake and ho ho me at that point then, because I'm good. That was like a treat.
Yeah.
I was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was more aggressive, so it wasn't like that because I was doing chemo every week. I was doing chemo.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was doing chemo
Ooh.
every, and each session was like 6 to 8 hours, I think. And then I was doing radiation every day.
Now I did
So
radiation daily.
yeah, so mine was a little more aggressive. So I was still not able to really eat much, even when I would find like peanut butter crackers were life for me. Like you would have thought it was a steak meal. It was life for me. Like my husband went when he found it, I could because I was like literally not really eating anything. So when he found out that was working for me, he went around boxes.
Stacked up. Let's stack up on peanut butter
He was like,
crackers.
oh, okay, that worked for you. Yeah, so we're gonna buy these. So you know, I certain things like you say is just like, oh my God, this is heaven. I cannot believe I can eat this because I can't eat like everything, the smell, everything is just so horrible. And it's so funny when you said that your best friend lives in Atlanta and came for your chemo. My best friend lives in Atlanta and came for my last session of chemo.
Wow.
Yes, she drove here in one day turnaround and came for my last session of chemo. So that when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that is so crazy. That is
One
like,
time for
wow.
best friends.
Right. That is so crazy. So yeah, and yeah, like you say, that experience is like none other. And I tell people all the time, I don't make excuses and I don't apologize for how I am with people now. Because I was like, until you have been through what I've been through, you would never understand how it feels.
Exactly.
You would never understand how it feels. Like you said, some people you thought would be there for you. You would never understand that the people that you thought you were going to be able to lean on and they end up not being those people. You would never understand how that feels in that moment when you're literally fighting for your life. And you can't lean on the people that you thought you could.
I just need you to show up positively. Be there.
Just be there. I didn't even need a lot because I didn't want a lot. I couldn't even do a lot. So I didn't need a lot. You know, all I need every now and then, call up your girl. And I would, and listen, and some people's like, I didn't know if you want to be bothered. It don't matter. I don't want to answer the phone. If I didn't want to be bothered, I'm not going to answer this phone. So it don't matter. So call. You know, at least I see your missed call. You know, I see
Give me the effort, you know.
You know, so yeah, I may not want to be bothered. And I will let you know I don't want to be bothered because I'm not going to answer the phone. Like my own family, my mom literally had to come basically kick down my door to see me because I was not responding. Yeah, because I'm tired. I don't want to talk to nobody right now. I'm upset. So I'm going, I don't want to deal with it right now. But my mama wasn't having it. She was like, oh no, you gonna let me see that you all right.
I'm coming to see my baby. Oh, that's it right there. That's a mama.
Yes,
that's a mama. I gotta put my eyes on you.
I can't be mad because that'll be me. I listen, because you all right? Because you okay. I don't give a darn what you tell these other people. I'm your mama. I pushed you out.
I'm here. You know
okay,
our mamas will get us right on together.
Listen, I was like, okay, mama, all right, girl, I'm all right. I just didn't feel like talking. She had no understanding for that. Oh no,
none.
Because like you said, it was a first thing for us too. Like my family never really dealt with that. Now, one of my aunts did die from breast cancer, but it happened so fast. Like she went in the hospital one day and never came out. So, you know, we didn't get the whole preparing for the diagnosis and watching her go through everything. It was like, boom, she diagnosed, boom, she's gone. Like, so I was literally one of the first, and then my uncle also, he died years ago from prostate cancer. He died years ago. Now we did kind of watch him go through the process or whatever, but he, you know, when you younger, you like, oh, they're older, so that kind of is supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen to somebody under 40 years old, you know, like.
Tell me about it.
Like, what's happening? So, you know, that was the first for all of us. So like you say, trial and error, we're just trying to figure this thing out, you know, and so it was very tough. And then to try to, and at the time, you know, I got children. So it's like trying to explain this stuff to your children and stuff like that and helping them get through. And if you go back on my YouTube channel too, I asked people that were close to me to do videos about their experience, because I would tell people all the time, hey, make sure y'all check on my family too, because like you said, we're all going through this together. So they are going through something too. It's not just about me. Yes, I am the one that's sick, but they are dealing with something too, because they're watching their sister or their daughter or their wife or their mom. Like they're watching this person they love go through something that they can't help them with. That is one of the toughest things. I can't help you. I can't take the chemo for you. I can't do the radiation for you. I can't go to the doctor's appointments for you. All I can do is be here and support you.
I can't take away that pain.
I can't take away that sickness. I can't do that. So to watch you literally dying in front of me, do you know what that does to their mindset and their spirit? So I was like, please make sure y'all are there for my people, because they have to be strong enough, because they can't break down in front of me, because they all trying to keep it together, because I'm going through, so because they don't want me to lose it, they trying to keep it together. So they need a place where they can break down and they can release. Right. So be there for them, because they're going through it too. And so I made sure that I acknowledge that, because a lot of people feel like because you're not the one going through, but if I'm close to it and it's somebody I love going through it, I may not be actually going through it, but to watch that and can't do nothing about it.
You can feel it, you know?
It's too much.
When you're in it, regardless of what role you play, you feel it, you know? So definitely.
Yeah. So you went through the chemo, you went through the radiation, and then how long did you go through all of that before you got your diagnosis to where they said you were in remission?
So I went through, because of like the type of cancer that I have, even though it's lymphoma, but it was found in my bone, it's kind of just like it's always up in air. So technically, I say that I'm in remission, but I still see my doctors very frequently.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like, okay, I went a couple of years and then, they scale back on your
Yeah,
appointments and so forth. And then I've had another scare. So I've had one actually as recent as this year. I had another mass a couple of months ago. And that was my thing too. I was like, this time I'm grown, I'm
yeah,
38. I'm going to keep this one to myself. But then it began to weigh on me that no, you did it this way the last time. Let's invite the right people in on it.
yeah,
But radiation did a lot of damage. So
yeah.
I don't know if many people understand what that radiation is
Yes,
like.
yes,
Chemo was, I won't say it was quick, but that radiation is lifelong damage for me
yes,
because it was hitting a particular area in my knee to where it did damage to my bone.
yeah.
So I've had a couple of knee surgeries um, since 2005. I've actually had them like maybe like every 2 years. Um,
Wow.
but what happened is the bone is decaying in
Yeah.
my knee. And so because of that, I have easy breakage, like my kneecap and stuff like that. So I have minor issues that I say as the results of my treatment. But even with that, like I know that eventually my doctor tells me every time I go that I'm gonna have a knee replacement, but we're gonna put it off as long as we can because of your age. And I'm
Wow.
like, okay. But throughout, I'm like, oh, okay, a knee replacement, I can handle that. I
Oh,
I hear people get them all the time, so I'll take
oh.
that. Um, so
I don't
I'm
want
like,
nothing
okay,
replaced. So, so
listen, no,
good, good thing that you
I'll
think about
take
it like
that.
that.
Yeah, I'll take that, because my
Instead of you
mind goes back
taking
to
my leg, I
you
take
want to
the knee
take my
replacement.
leg. We can replace the knee because I
Right,
still got
right,
my
right,
leg. So we have to count it all joy in areas that we can, right? So I'm like, okay.
right.
And I went through my little things where they were like, you can't wear heels, this, that, and the third. I'm like, y'all don't even understand. I'm gonna have on the baddest pair of pumps I can find. Every now and then, you just test the limits.
Yeah.
But I think it was maybe a matter of everything kind of took like a 6.5 month span for my chemo and my radiation. And then they were like, we're going to keep you under observation. That was like for a couple of years. And then they were like, okay, so we'll put you in a temporary remission because it's so rare. We don't know what it's going to
Right,
do.
right,
So I'm like, okay,
right,
well, I'll walk around with that. I mean, I'm
right.
good. And then, like I said, just a couple of months ago, I actually had another mass appear. And like you said, we have to know our bodies,
Yeah,
and I'm kind of stubborn at times. So I knew that something was transpiring, but I didn't want to face it. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I've been
yeah.
here before, like, am I really gonna go? So I have waited a little bit of time before I actually went and got some testing and stuff done. And it was like, okay. And then that piece came again and was just like, it's not going to be cancerous. Like, it's just not. Like, they say, the weapons they will form, but they shall not prosper.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
those words just kept, settling that spirit of like anxiety and like fear. And it's like, now I'm older, so I got a little bit more in me so where
Yeah,
I can get myself through some situations,
yeah.
you know? So we went and we did some testing and found out, yeah, it was a mass, but it wasn't cancerous. So
Woo!
we did some things. And I'm just like, you
Praise
know what?
God.
I'm so thankful, because
Praise
it
God.
could have been anything. But
Yeah,
even then, it was like it came back to my remembrance. And in that, um, there was a group of people that I encountered that was going through their own battles. So I
yeah,
feel like, every now and then, this is just the way my steps are ordered. This is the
absolutely.
path that puts me in connection with people who may not
Absolutely.
be able to bear it by themselves, Like they
Absolutely.
need someone who can say, hey, I'm the survivor.
Yeah.
Look at me. And the crazy thing about that is because when I tell people, they look at my tattoo, they be like, well, who was that for? I'd be like, me. They'd be like, you don't look sick. Well, what does sick look like? What does my cancer look like? Like, how does the cancer survivor look? Like, do we carry a look? Is there like a stain on us that says, you know what? I went through cancer. Like, I don't get it, but that's kind of like the
That's
common
funny.
reaction that I get where people be like, you had cancer? Like, oh, no way, I would have never known. And I'm like, well, you ain't supposed to know. Like, how they say you
Right.
don't look like what you've been through? Well, I'm
Listen.
not going to look like what I've been through.
Listen. Tough.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. People do the same thing with me. Even when I was going through it, they were like, if you would have told me, I would have known that. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, that's the
Because
point.
I didn't do, like I didn't lose the weight. Like, and I was ready. Now that part I was ready for. I said, oh, I'm gonna lose some weight. Oh, okay. I didn't lose no weight. I didn't lose
Oh,
weight like that, and I didn't lose my hair because I had the kind of chemo that doesn't, which I didn't know exists. It doesn't make your hair leave. So I didn't lose my hair or whatever, and so I've never looked sick. But you could tell if you would watch like my movements and stuff like that, like my breathing and stuff was off and stuff like that. So
the
you could
fatigue and
tell,
stuff.
yes, and like I could barely walk to the bathroom. I was so tired, and so I would get out of breath walking to the bathroom. And like with the radiation, because I had it in my cervix area, so my hip and all that kind of stuff is affected. My leg and stuff is kind of affected. So I did physical therapy that helped a lot. And now I'm working with a fitness trainer, and that helps a lot too. So I'm doing things so I don't have to have any surgeries or anything, because I don't want none of that. So I'm trying not to have to worry about that. And heels are not my friend. I be trying, but this
Oh, we're
hip,
going to have to get you in some heels, Miss. Look,
I
we're going to have
I
to get you in
I
some
wear them.
heels.
I wear them, and then they come off a little. I put them on. So I definitely, yeah, I'm trying to get back in them, and that's why I tell my trainer, I say, hey, I want to get back in heels because I'm a heel girl. Understand? I can't do these flats all
Mm-hmm.
the time. So I'm trying to get back in them. So it is, it's a journey, and it's a weird journey, and it's a scary journey, and it's
It
so many
is.
emotions and feelings that you go through when you're dealing with something like that. When they say that your life flashed before your eyes, mine literally did, because
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh my God, I was thinking about all the stuff I've done, all the stuff I haven't done, and all the stuff that I just don't want to do. I was
Exactly.
like, you know what, bump it, just take me, because I didn't want to do the chemo and radiation. I was so against it. I was so mad when the doctor told me, because at first I thought I was gonna be able to just have surgery, but I wasn't able to have the surgery. And when they told me chemo and radiation, I said, who finna do that? Not me, because I've seen it. People, like, I'm not sick, and that's what makes you sick. And I didn't want to go through
Mm-hmm.
it. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But my husband, they went off on me and was like, no, you're going to do it. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna hear
Sometimes
what
people have to
God
think
had to
for
say.
us.
But God
Mm-hmm.
told me, God was like, you gotta go through it, and you gotta share your story. And like you say, what we go through is not for us. So, my story is for other people, and the way that it has shifted my thinking, and it has shifted my life, and it has
Yeah.
pushed me to do some things that I probably would never do or want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and connect to certain people that I would have never connected to, like you. Like, I probably would have never connected, that kind of stuff, because of the things that I'm going through. And then come to find out some of the things that, other things that you do and other people do beyond us connecting over cancer. We're mothers, and all that kind of stuff. It's great to find out, because you don't always find these people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. And I'm so glad that both of us are survivors. I'm so glad we both went through that.
Yes.
We're able to tell our story and hopefully help other people to know that they can be survivors too. And that's not just with cancer, with anything that you go through in life, you can survive,
Exactly.
you can get through that thing. It doesn't matter, as long as your faith is what it needs to be for God to do what he
Exactly.
needs to do in your life. And then
Mm-hmm.
you don't sit there and wallow in it, and you understand that, hey, I'm going through this for a reason. So God, what are you trying to show me? And what
That's
do I
it.
need to do to help? Who do I need to help with this?
Mm.
So at the end of the day, instead of me sitting around saying, like we were asking, why me? I don't understand. I'm mad. Da, da, da. How about we ask, what are you trying
Why
to
not?
show me? And who
Yeah,
do I need to help? Because it's for someone else. If we don't see other people go through it, if we don't see other people conquer it, how do we believe that we can do it?
exactly.
So
I
we
love it.
definitely have, yes, so we definitely have to be able to go through these things. And again, not just with an illness, with anything in life, you have to literally be like, okay, I need to get through this because I need to be able to help somebody who's probably giving up on hope right now. Somebody who's probably saying they don't want to go through this. They're done with life. They don't want to have to face something, and they see somebody who they definitely believe in, and somebody who they admire, and somebody they see fighting, and they're like, wait a minute, Toya did that. Wait a minute, Stephanie did that, and oh my God,
Yes.
like, so let me see what I can do. If they can get through cancer, I'm over here
Mm-hmm.
talking about my bills. I'm over here
Exactly.
talking about a man or a woman. I'm over here talking about these kids, and they went through cancer, and they're talking like
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay, God, let me get my behind up and let me do what I gotta do, because apparently somebody got something going on more than I do, and they getting through that thing, and they came out with great spirits about it. So okay, there's something on the other side of this that is great for me. So let me push through it. And that
Yes.
is definitely something I hope that people get when they do hear our stories, that people are believing God is still, you know, I tell people God is still a miracle worker. We don't see
He
those a lot
is.
anymore. You know, we don't hear people
Mm.
talk about the miracles. God is still a miracle worker. He's still a healer. He'll
He
heal
is.
anything for you. Like, you gotta believe that. We gotta renew the belief in miracles, signs, and wonders. We have to believe that,
Yes.
because if we don't, we'll be lost.
A lost. Yep.
Lost all
Yep.
day. Yeah. So, we talked about the cancer. So let's get into the mommy stuff. Let's get into your organization. Tell us about your organization.
So it's Mom on the Move. And again, it's just something that came. I have a wonderful mother, a great example, And so um when we think about things, there's multiple perspectives, right? So you can be that person who didn't have the example, or you can be the person who had the example.
Right.
And either way it goes, you can relate in learning and growing one way or the other. And so in mine, my mother was great, but she was great to just more than me. She
Mm.
is still great to more than just me. And so I used to watch people want to connect with me to be close to my mother. And it was like, Mom, like, what you got that these people need? And then when I had my son, um, it was like, okay, had my baby out of wedlock, got married, was with my son's father, went through a divorce, and it was kind of like I'm on my own now. And where I'm used to having help, I like to say I was a young mother. I was in my 20s. I didn't really know everything that I needed to know,
Right.
but I had support. And then I began to see my friends and their kids, and they didn't have support. And I would just be like, oh, call my mama. And then that's where the idea began to, fester in my mind. Like, that's where it was like, okay, who do moms have? If we can't be there for each other, who are we there for? And I used
Yeah.
to watch like my friends or people that I work with or someone I would come in contact with, and they would struggle and do it alone. And we're made for community. We're
Yeah.
not made to be alone.
Right.
But you have to be in right relationships. And
Right.
so I just would pay attention to, working moms,
Mhm.
married moms, like just started paying attention to how everybody navigated, and
Yeah.
how we all bring something to the table, but sometimes we don't know how to say, I need, or can you help?
Right.
Or I don't know, because as moms, we want to have it all together for our kids. First
Absolutely.
of all, we don't want nobody to know that we don't know. So sometimes we
Absolutely.
suffer in silence,
Right.
when if we had a safe environment to be
Yeah.
like, hey, I don't know this. Who
Right.
can tell me? They say my baby's suffering from colic. What I got to do?
Right.
Or we got this breakout, and you're, just to be there to know, like, I may not have the answer, but the answer is here. And then not
Right.
only that, like when I went through my cancer, and I went through being a single mom, I wanted to get back to forming me, like I didn't want to just be like, parents tell that story like, well, my life ended when I had kids. That ain't what I want. I want
Yeah.
my son to know that his mom is still going hard, and
Yeah.
it's not because I'm struggling, but because there's still so much more of Stephanie. Stephanie
Yeah.
didn't die when I became a mother, you
Right.
know, and sometimes and I use the word transition for the fact of saying, when a person does, die, there's a transition that takes place, right?
Right.
So when we have kids, sometimes we transition out of us into them, and
Right.
we live through them, when instead we should be living for them. And
Right.
what the difference is living for my son taught me how to live for me first, and
Yeah.
then to live for him. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't say I'm gonna be all he needs, because if I'm not the best version of myself, I'm nothing for him, you
Absolutely.
know? And so then it was like, well, what's the best version for me? you know I recently became the life coach. That was for me. I didn't do that for him, but he benefits from it.
Right.
And at his age, he saw his mama in school, learning, still growing, and still developing. And that's
Right.
another thing too. Like when we focus on our dreams, they don't stop because we have kids you
Yeah.
know and we can't make our kids finish our dreams. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cheerleader, so she got to cheer. Well, what if she don't want to
Right.
cheer? What if she want to run track?
Right.
So it's like the healthy balance. But this was all birth, and I like to say that word because I just wanted to let moms know this is a safe haven for us. And I use my coaching in this aspect too. To do like family coaching. Like if you're
Yeah.
struggling and your kids are struggling, y'all don't have a relationship, we can't lose our kids to
Right.
the world.
Right.
So let's come together. Let's talk about these things. Let me mentor. Let me be that person. And with my son in football, I have so many football sons. Like I love them to death. Like they call me more than my own son, and they'll be like, "Hey, mom, this, that." And I tell them, especially because I have a teenager, I want to be that person. And it wasn't until, it actually went into, life that I realized that there's absentee parents, but it's not because they desire to be. It could be because they're working, or
Yeah.
because they're trying to take care of, or
Right.
because they don't even know that that's what their kid desires,
Yeah.
So it's so many reasons that Moms on the Move was formed. But ultimately, it's just a safe haven for moms to come together and, you know, you spend all day talking to a toddler, you might want to just talk to a grown up
Yeah.
you know so I call it the end all to all relationship. Like whatever you need, it's here. If you're
Yeah.
trying to better your finances, we have coupon classes, budgeting, we have stuff like that, so
Ooh.
it's here for you. I love the coupon. It's something that
Ooh.
was
Somebody to
taught
teach
to
me.
me. Oh, you got it. We gonna do this together. But I love my stockpile. It's you don't know your kid want to play a sport. Well, here you can post. We post things like that. Like these are parks where you can trust. Um, it's just an atmosphere, a culture, an environment that's safe for healthy relationships. And that's to say adult relationships, and then even our children. Like you talked about Katrina earlier. Katrina, and I'm actually working with her on her event coming up, to where it's a fun day. Our kids don't even know they don't even know how to interact anymore with other
Yeah.
kids because we're so electronically. What does
Yeah.
outside look like if it isn't
Right.
football, if it isn't a
Right.
sport activity? Do you even know how to communicate healthy
Right.
outside of a text message that's broken English and decoded in words and stuff that most people don't even know what you're saying, you know?
Right.
Are it's just the safe place, whether it's for your child or whether or not it's for you. It's just that environment that say, hey, come be a part of it. You never know what
Yeah.
you're going to get out of here. We have a health coach. She
Ooh.
gives out tidbits on, natural, and she's a nurse. So she gives out, medical. If you don't know, you can reach out to her. If
Yeah.
you're too afraid to go to the doctor or may not have the proper coverage or anything like that, we post tips, on, how to be our healthiest version of us. If you don't know what to cook, we have a person who does weekly meals. So it's
Ooh.
kind of just like, let me help you be the best mom you can be, you know? So
Yeah.
I learned even too, like in my coaching, I'm very big on accountability and resilience,
Mhm.
mindset. If you can come to this place and all you see is positive, because we ain't bashing no baby daddies, we ain't bashing our husbands, we ain't doing none of
Right.
that. This is not the platform for that. So if that's what you're
Right.
looking for, you might not want to come here.
Yeah.
No, that's not this. Okay.
Right.
But this is just to say whatever you need. And if it's not there yet, drop it. Might be
Yeah.
something we can add. But just a healthy environment overall.
That's awesome. Like I love it. Definitely, definitely, definitely let me know. Definitely complete woman would definitely connect because that's pretty much what we are about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to help out. I coach as well as you know, and I do more so relationship coaching. So families, man, couples and individual counseling as well, and also friendships. Like I coach it all, like so to help out in those areas, and I do events too. I am also I'm trying to get it started back up before the pandemic, I did an event for teen moms, and it's probably gonna start.
Oh,
Yeah, because I was a teen mom, so I definitely know that there's a lot of stuff out here that they don't know and need help with. So for young moms and stuff, I do event for them and giveaways and stuff like that. So definitely, so because
we
it's
got a
needed,
pair.
like you said, absolutely, it's needed, because all of us need help, like you say, and we don't need to feel like we're in it alone. Yeah, you don't like your kid, we don't like our kid either. Hey, so
Yeah.
don't feel bad about it. It's okay, as long as you love them and you take care of them and you treat them right. It's okay not to like them sometimes because they are a handful. Understand?
They are.
I get it. I understand.
They
Don't
are.
judge me. If you want to get away and do something on your own without your children, it is fine. It's
Yes.
okay. You don't
It's
feel
so funny you
guilty
said
about
that
that.
because we do events. So like January of this year, it was a group of us and we did a retreat in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and we got away for the weekend and it was no kids allowed. It was called Mommy Needs a Refill. And it was just moms,
Yeah.
all ages, and so we have another one that is in the plan right now. It's actually finalized. We had to adjust the date a little bit, but it's called Moms Just Want to Have Fun. So where we're going down south, and it has a whole 90s theme, but we do things in the city too. Like we link up and sometimes you just need healthy
Absolutely.
relationships. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Somebody who you can relate to,
Yeah.
someone who you can talk to. And like I said, and even if nothing else, you may just want to get together and socialize, have a drink.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to a toddler. I don't want to fuss at my teenage boy about taking the trash out. I'm tired of yelling. I don't work hard and I just want to
Listen,
relax.
tired. Just want to chill
Yes,
out. We just want
yes.
to chill out and just be us. So yeah, absolutely. It's so needed. And I'm so glad to see that you are doing that. And so let the people know how to connect with you and to connect to your group.
Okay, so I am Moms on the Move is available on social media platforms, and we have a website. If you want to check the website out, you can actually see what activities you can meet the team. You could schedule or book a consultation, which is free, a free service for a coaching. The web address is going to be www.mom-on-the-move.com/mom. So it's Mom on the Move. Just put the dashes in there, .com/mom. And you can take a look and see what we offer. You can find us on Facebook. We are Moms on the Move. We do have a Facebook group as well as a page. We do post daily on there. You know, we talk about whether Publix has a sale or monkeypox coming out. So we just are very active on Facebook. And we're also on Instagram, which is _Mom on the Move. So we are on social media platforms. And we're definitely, it's a free group, so you don't have to pay anything. So just sign up and just stay active. And I just say, if you're shy at first and you don't have anything to say, that's fine. Watch for a little bit, but you'll never understand how much your mindset begins to shift the more you begin to communicate with others. Yeah. Participation, it's the engagement that really gets you. When you start engaging with the things on social media and you start, being open, that's when you begin to start seeing transformation really take place, So come be a part.
Awesome. I love it. So I will put those social media and the website, I'll put them in the comment section on my YouTube channel. I'll put them on, and when I can't put on the podcast thing. So hopefully you guys listen on the podcast, you guys you hear the website and able to find it. But on the YouTube channel, it definitely should be at in the comment section when you watch this video. So that is amazing. Everything that you talked about, we're definitely going, like I say, link up. We're definitely going to do
most
some other things
definitely
because it's definitely needed, and I love everything about your story. And I love what you're doing for moms. I love all of that, so it's definitely going to be more. You're going to hear and see more of Stephanie, Coach Stephanie. You're going to see more of her. If it's me doing something, I say, hey, Coach Stephanie gonna be there or whatever, hey, you're going to see more of her because it's needed. It's definitely needed. And I definitely want to be a part of that. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. So that is all for us today. And if you want to reach out to me, if you want to be a guest on Talks with Toya, again, go to thecompletewoman19@gmail.com. You can find me on social media, Coach Toya K on Instagram, and on Facebook, Latoya Kite, Kight. Y'all should see it right now. I always spell it because people just spell it wrong, but it's right on the screen. And for my podcast listeners, you should see it in the name of the podcast. So make sure you check it out. And if you have not checked out all of my past episodes, go and look at them. Go look at them again. If you want to see my journey with cancer, I did all of my journey through with cancer, my vlogging, all at my blog. Is it vlogging or blog? I don't know. But anywho, it's on my YouTube. I didn't put those on a podcast, but they are on the YouTube channel for you to see everything that I went through when I was dealing with cancer and other things. And you also can find other stuff on my YouTube page as well. So that is it for this episode. Make sure again you guys continue to look out for all the things I have coming up, because your girl is doing some great things in the earth, because guess what, God kept me here for a reason, and I want to make sure that I do that. So I want to make sure I bless as many people as I can and make sure I get the word out about what God does in the earth and how he is amazing, so, and definitely be able to help other people, not just moms. I want to be able to help all people and not just wives and all that, all people, so that's what I'm here for. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being a part. I appreciate it. I love when I reach out to people and they're like, yes, I'll do it. That means so much to me. I appreciate it. You were awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You again. You're so welcome. Thank you so much. It was so amazing. Thank you guys. Goodbye, my love.